And here we are once again, two interesting drafts. It's me, Naisu, joined on the desk with Brigida, and we're here to bring you the action. It's match number 3 already in day 1 for MWI at Esports World Cup. Brigida, we saw the drafts, we heard the panel thoughts. Real quick, before we jump in, who's got the better draft here for you?
I have to say, this is some sort of throwback for me personally to the entire era of the Matilda Faramis connection we see every single time, even in MPL Philippines, that's where it all started.
Yep.
And I'm sort of leaning to that because even the panelists did mention that it's way simpler if you think about it. Like the entire idea of how Twisted Minds just has to execute this draft, it's relatively simpler compared to that of Team Vitality. They have to layer and coordinate so well so they successfully make or be able to pull off a team fight with the skills that they have. But so far, based on, I think, even just the laning phase.
Jeez, first blood already.
They're doing really well in terms of the laning phase.
You were just going to go into the point here, Brigida, but a first blood at basically the 1 minute mark is you got to think, it's a big advantage for Fumi Echo. Now, for those of you that turned into MWI or the other tournaments that have gone on, we know that Fumi Echo loves this CC. It's one of her, I would say, better picks, or one of their favorite heroes that she's able to really perform on. And it was a standout hero from even MWI in 2024. Looking at the emblems real quick, too, you can see there's a whole lot of the ruptures that are there, the penetration that they're going to be looking for. So if you look at the lineup from Team Vitality, this is a lineup that wants to end this game quickly. They can do that in a couple different ways, especially the fact that you have a Selena, for example, to help out. Echo, she's trying to maybe possibly start in a fight to bring them forward, but Twisted Minds will take that discipline route. And like you were saying, Brigida, they definitely have to play the part with this much utility. Like, that's the biggest thing we look at this here is how much utility does this lineup bring? You got a Matilda and a Faramis. Those are two of the biggest utility heroes that you can have on a lineup. So we'll see if they take that advantage in terms of utility options for this first objective.
Oh, look at the Abyssal Arrow immediately connecting onto Hyde, taking out the most important player from Twisted Minds for the first objective that we're seeing right here. Lyrics might be the next to fall, but will have the flicker to keep herself safe. And I feel like it's really Team Vitality respecting the idea that, yeah, Twisted Minds, they have so much sustain, but it might take a little more time. So they're doing their best in the early game.
And I was just about to build that up. As we see Lyrics get taken down under the turret. You know what the answer was, Brigida, for all the utility and everything and that sustainability? Is an arrow. And maybe that's exactly why they decided to bring up the Selena pick. Just because one Abyssal... oh, hold on. Already the fight for the purple, too. Bizzle's just going.
They're trying to disrupt the Duval, but Chinny is there as well. Although this is a very aggressive play coming in from Twisted Minds. They really just had to take what was rightfully theirs. They could not allow for Bival to get that. But going back to what you were mentioning earlier, it's really Twisted Minds probably having to take their time and Team Vitality making full use of that pickoff potential. Because in as much as Twisted Minds could really work well when it comes to a 5v5 team fight, if they already get rid of one player immediately before the team fight breaks out, then that's a lot less to think about.
And that's why the arrows are so great. You can see this pressure that they're able to go ahead and apply around the map. I mean, Fumi Echo made her way pretty much up towards the top of the map. Now she's in the middle. She's just left that lane because they pushed it in so easily. And now they're going to go ahead and get this top turret down too. So what we're seeing is Twisted Minds really trying to get in a position where can we make a play? Is it here?
They are going to take out Fumi Echo, even using the Retribution from Hyde just to make sure that they will be getting that kill. They have to slow down things for Team Vitality. I mean, look at the rotations that's coming from them. They even already lost their tier 1 tower in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they've lost 2 turrets already. So that's space disadvantage for Twisted Minds right now. The next objective, that second turret of the game, is coming up. Team Vitality has control of this area of the map, really, as you can already see, too. The buffs are going to be taken, so you don't want this to happen too much because these are one of those things in this where they compound on top of each other. Oh, she can be okay?
Final Slash is there. And look at these two members, making sure that Lyrics will be well supported. They're just deciding to go for the trade, and they want to at least attempt to take down this turret down bottom. But Fumi Echo, they have no idea that she's there. There's another realm already committed, but Vivian will be the first to fall. Lyrics might be next. Chell is here to join everyone too. Vival trying to look for the targets down behind, but Miss Meow won't be able to survive anymore. That's 3 members in exchange of 1.
Already a double right there, and that was all started up from Vivian.
Wow.
Vivian knew that the rest of the team was rotating down. She'll go ahead, set things up. Even if it was to sacrifice herself, she got her job done. And now they capitalize it under the tier 1.
How do you survive this? Look at the damage coming in from both Vival and Chell. That's a double kill for the goal later of Team Vitality. 4-0 on this Granger, just 5 minutes into this game.
Shell's online, man, and this is the trouble part about this, because this is a lineup that is built to end the game early, and they're clearly doing that now. 6,000 nearly gold ahead. They're going to continue to play with this kind of lead, and we have to kind of break down and look at, all right, Twisted Mind Orchids, how do they stop this? Because even looking at the instant replay, when you get dropped down under the turret and you're kind of decimated between the two, where do you go? You know, what do you have to rely on here? And this is once again a fight that we saw started by Vivian. She delayed them from actually disengaging from this.
Yeah.
And this is where they fought. And they initiate the fight, and right now too, even on the live cam, we already see them going for the base.
They lose one of their frontliners immediately just as the fight breaks out. Lyrics, will he be able to survive this? No! As they take out 3 members immediately from Twisted Minds. And as you've mentioned, just as we were thinking about ways on how Twisted Minds could deal with this, I feel like it's such a difficult position to be in right now. Their setup at most is Lyrics, and he can or she can only access so much. Those people who are willingly putting themselves up front, and the damage dealers are way behind if you're in Team Vitality's lineup right now. Not even the Appraiser's Wrath could reach the necessary targets at this point.
It's quite the goal difference that we saw lane to lane. And you're seeing it just even alone with the Destinata, not to mention the Rhapsodies coming out from Shell. There's just too much of a poke. And meanwhile, Twisted Minds Orchids have to also remember, man, we gotta dodge these arrows too. And there's just so much vision being provided right now. And so what we are seeing is just Team Vitality continue on the base, trying to get the shield as it's popped now in the top lane. The middle lane shield was also popped, so the job is done for now. I'm not sure if they can get much more. Maybe the tier 2 in the bottom lane, all before the next objective. And it's crazy to think that, yeah, the next objective is still the turtle. Third one of the game is up. An arrow's gonna land. And think about it, it's so, the synergy between the Abyssal, the Arrow and then the Rhapsody lineups and the Destinata are too much
I mean,
to really handle.
I don't think Team Vitality has been using much of their battle spells just yet even. Like, there hasn't been a huge flicker, fist crack combo from Vivian just yet. Or there was no need to do that, I guess. Because, like, at most, or at this point, maybe they'll be using their flickers to chase after Twisted Minds. Once Twisted Minds know that they can't proceed with the team fight anymore, because this is a 10k gold lead that we're talking about. So how do you even go about this? I mean, even just now we're seeing the lead that's currently in the hands of Team Vitality, the amount of items, the difference in items just between the damage dealers themselves, the gold laners specifically. That's 3 core items already in the hands of Chell, and who knows how many stacks she already has on that Sky Piercer.
Yeah, the Sky Piercer is going to be stacked up, and 3,000 difference between, you know, the gold lane alone is really not where you want to be. And dealing into this, yeah, I mean, every lane, right? There's a huge economic gap for the items here. So they'll make their way. There we go. We get a little glimpse at the snacks here for Shell once again. And she's locked and loaded. It's still under the 10-minute mark. So this Lord coming down the middle lane is going to be so difficult to defend against. And this could definitely be a game ender, depending on how it's played out. Lord's going to charge the mid lane. A couple shots from Lyrics.
Oh, Ginny nearly took out Lyrics, forced her down to half HP. There's another Abyssal Arrow, and that's going to connect onto Livin, but there's another realm to try and save everyone, but it might not be enough, but the Appraiser's Wrath, it lands onto 2 members of Team Vitality, but not even that will delay this any further. They end this game in less than 10 minutes.
And Team Vitality, once again, The queens of MLBB still showing why that is the case. Winning streak after winning streak, and they'll start their first foot towards that here at MWI at EWC. Once again with a very dominant game one in this first best of three of theirs here. Showcasing just why they work so well. I mean, the synergy between everybody in the lane, the way they rotated around the map, the early kill at the 1 minute mark from Fumi Echo. I mean, this is a power lineup, not just with the heroes, but the ladies themselves on how they executed this game one. It was basically just about as clean of a game as it gets here.
It was such a confident performance, I'd say, from Team Vitality. They know what they're after in as early as the first game of this tournament.
Definitely so. I can't wait to hear what our studio at the panel has to say. Let's go ahead and throw it over to them to break down the game.
Well, that was violent. That was a terrific performance by Team Vitality. If people were wondering, why do these three people seem to like talking about Team Vitality and saying just how good they are? Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw it firsthand.
I mean, look, we know for a fact that, yes, Twisted Mind had the idea, first of all, with getting Kimi first, because it's the top priority picks. But then the moment when they wanted to find an answer to the Selena, they picked up the Faramis. That's why we feel like, okay, there's something wrong there on the line to actually fight, because Twisted Mind, they couldn't find a way to actually hold off their defense compared to how it is for Team Vitality.
That was one of the smoothest game today and the fastest actually in less than 10 minutes. And all in all, that Badang and especially with the Selena pick was just somehow to amplify the Granger as well here. Getting multiple kills at a time and looking at the stats as well with the rupture here, Renmar.
Whoever decided to call it on the side of Team Vitality to pack 4 ruptures, that was a master stroke there. Considering that Team Vitality knows the Twisted Minds are going to be playing around some 2 core heroes to hold the front for Twisted, which is the Fredrin and the Arlott. You pack those ruptures, and if they die early, the damage in the early game will feel like as if we've already played 7 minutes of MLBB. You felt that 2 minutes in.
Yeah, and especially onto the gold lane, which Brigida pointed out, 3 core item is span of what, 7 minutes for Shell right now. Just really killing it. Untouchable, by the way, with the 801 KD8. So much to consider here onto the fact that the Joy has already been picked up here by Vival. This is what we're talking about. Any hero, as long as the gold and even the roam has a great synergy, it's all okay. It's all alright. Even if you use the Hellcurt, the Layla, whichever hero that you want.
Yeah, and the fact that we saw how desperate Twisted Minds had to go to the rotation. They had 5 people just ganging up and chasing after Team Vitality, leaving off a lot of their own objectives, whereby it could have actually gone a little bit different way if they had a different objective or mission of focus to fight with the side of Team Vitality itself.
Yeah, if you look up at the lineup of Twisted Minds, you see a lineup where if you just look at the big picture of it, theoretically, it should go very well for them. A tight, solid unit playing around the Fredrin and the Arlott. You have the Faramis, Matilda utility brought to the table to supplement the Kimi.
Yeah.
But then if you look at the finer details, what does Vitality have on their board? The Badang rushed early on. The Joy and the Selena that should have been given a little bit more difficulty, they made it look easy. And one of the main reasons, because Chinny just landed Abyssal Arrow after Abyssal Arrow.
And that's a connection of the sisters, by the way. Even without speaking, like, do you know how to do arrow? No, leave it up to me. You don't need to overthink things. Just go with the flow. And that was so smooth here for Team Vitality. They should be called Team Brutality. That was brutal. Versus Twisted Minds.
Team Brutality. I like that. I mean, we have to call them Team Vitality. But at that point, that was Team Brutality that we saw. And I like how Naisu and his daughter did mention it also. That, his daughter bring it up. What's up, guys? The lineups of the Abyssal Arrow paired up with the Death Sonata of the Granger. We talked about the Sisterhood link that you mentioned. We saw it in practice.
Yeah, because the fact is, you even talked about it when the fact Team Vitality, their Sisterhood is much more synergy compared to how it is. And we've talked even about the Team Twisted Mind. Yes, you have the double sister down, double trouble, but comparing the synergy of Team Vitality as well as the team of Twisted Mind, they have a lot of arguments now and then, and those are the things that is crucial when it comes to composition and communication.
Yeah.
And you need to be okay when it comes to the tournament.
It's how you strengthen your bond with the arguments and all. And even on their off days, of course, they go to the same house. They play the same game. So they have a lot of screams by them two alone, right? So that's why it's really reflecting onto their game on how smooth, fluid their connection was for that game.
Yeah, a quick little anecdote I'd like to share. Of course, I got the chance to talk to Shell last year for MWI 2024, and she did say it's gotten to the point where she doesn't even need to ask Chinny for help. She just
Wow.
They've already have that mental link of like, all right, the timings of when Shell needs my help. If I'm Chinny, then I'm gonna go there. If not, then she doesn't need me. It's fine. I'll go somewhere else. We saw that in practice. So now let's get a closer look at the mid lane matchup between the Faramis of Miss Meow and the Selena of Chinny. Let's break it down theoretically. Yes, head to head, it was not a great game here for the Faramis, but you can't really blame Miss Meow because how can you position yourself? That's the thing about the Faramis. You need time to position yourself alongside your roamer and your jungler, whereas on the side of Chinny with the Selena, it's much more proactive. You have the chance to dictate the tempo and the speed of the matchup against your opposing mid laner, and that's exactly what Chinny did.
Yeah, and exactly with the Abyssal Arrows, it's enough to proc out or to force out the ultimate, right? The Netherrealm. So with that contrast, it's a stark difference here. Not only on that experience, but also on the way that Chinny positioned himself or herself onto the Selena pick. And most of the time, we could see Twisted Mind struggling. You've mentioned like the priorities aren't there yet. Like 5 members at a time targeting one single lane, and other lanes are just open for Team Vitality to take down. So they just need to somehow prioritize and properly decimate the roles. Or what do they want to target? What do they want to accomplish, right?
I mean, the fact that they actually had that desperate motion, this is where the fine line, you need to calm down. Chill, girls.
chill.
There are times that you can actually slow things down. You had that idea already. It's just that you were rushing too much. And this is also something that I've just talking about with the stage host, which is Cheryl. She said that there's a pattern between the ladies whereby we keep on seeing all the women always want to go all out, aggressive, even in the early on. And this is something that maybe can be probably think
Polish?
about,
Yeah.
polish, as well as think thoroughly on how you want to actually approach. Yes, aggressive is nice earlier on, but at the same time, you have to be careful. If you don't want to actually go in all out, okay, if once it didn't work out, let me do it twice. If twice didn't work out, let me do it the third time. But no, just be calm.
And the bottom line is communication. You have to be very clear with what you want to plan for your team. The shot caller especially, whether it's the roamer here or even the mid laner. Sometimes mid laners tend to be the shot callers because of what they have. With the Fram, it's like, I have the ultimate. We're ready. Do you have the setup here? Matilda, are you ready? Things like that. So communication still is the key here for Twisted Minds.
Yeah, and I think now Twisted Minds, once they go into the second game, they have to switch up their strategy. I had no problem with the strategy that they brought to the table here for game number one. In fact, considering that, I mean, I spent most of my career casting games in the Philippines, I'm very much okay with what we saw from that. But again, now, considering that you know what you're up against, a team that's very proactive and very aggressive, you're gonna have to try and match that. Even if you went into this day with that game plan of, hey, maybe let's try to play a little bit more reserved, go for the counter punch. It seems like it's not gonna work against Vitality. Twisted Minds here has to go on the aggressive.
Yeah, they won't adjust to you just because you're new to the league. You have to match the tempo, the energy, or somehow create your own tempo. Because all the time for game number one, that is just Team Vitality playing around on their food. They're just swallowing Twisted Minds as a whole, right? Without any chewing at all. But that's hard to do. By the way, disclaimer, don't do that with your food. but for Team Vitality, they were able to do that because they know that they already have that confidence. And as you've mentioned, that somehow self-independence when it comes to the draft itself and the moves.
Yeah. So for you, Fasha, considering that you've also gotten to cast the MAL, does this all sound so familiar to you about how if there's a certain team that's aggressive, the team that's usually more defensive-minded needs to adjust to that? Or what do you think?
It's actually a really particular pattern that we've already seen throughout. It doesn't really matter from the MEL or even from other tournaments. We know for a fact you always have to do adjustments from time to time, and you always have to go back to the drawing boards. But in the certainty ways that I do see here coming in from MWI, when it comes to the men division, they try to step back a little when the moment they realize that it's not working. But compared to how women does, we do see that once it doesn't work out, they want to do it again and again and again. And this is where the fine line, you just need to pause a little bit in game itself.
All right, so it seems like right now it's a very tough decision for Twisted Minds. If, number one, are you going to try to repeat, to refine and improve, or are you going to instantly scrap it right away so that you have a chance of forcing a game number 3? Again, in the group format that we have here, it's GSL. You win 2 series, you're through. You lose 2 series, you're out. And right now, with Vitality at match point, Twisted Minds are at that risk of losing their first series, meaning that they'll only have one more chance after that.
Yeah, some mottos, as you mentioned, like women teams tend to do like the try and try until you succeed, not Daya. Yeah, and sometimes you have to draw the fine line onto trying to maybe adjust, try and try until you get the right tempo, until you get the right hook onto the talent as well. And most of the time, we see some adjustments, but it's not really instant, right? We could definitely see it reflect maybe onto their next matches as the day progresses here for MWI, but let's see.
Let's see what Twisted Minds will do in the draft. I am the type of person to lean a little bit more towards the idea of maybe, just maybe, if it didn't work out, it's not that you're giving up, it's that you really just need to switch things up right away. Someone that we haven't actually gotten a chance to talk about here is the coach of Team Vitality. Coach Casius, the longtime coach of Alter Ego, a team from Indonesia, the professional league there, has been known for the longest time as one of the best drafting minds in the Indonesian league. And he is showing it up here through the performance of Team Vitality. They take away the Gatot Kacha and the 1-1. So front to back lineups, if Vitality wants to go for that, they don't have to worry. If they want to stick together with the Gatot Kacha gone, they don't have to worry as well. And if Vitality wants to pick up heroes with a lot of dashes, they're okay as well. So these opening bans for Vitality opens up a whole field of possibilities for the team.
Now they have the chance to get the YSS first pick, actually.
Yes.
Still looking forward to it being opened up, whether for Team Vitality or Twisted Minds. Set aside though with the draft itself, you've mentioned that Coach Cages is really good at the mind games when it comes to somehow counter-picking onto Twisted Minds. But Daliot as well has that kind of experience from MPLPH and now coaching for MENA. There are certain things that he wants to experiment, but as you mentioned, you have to acknowledge sometimes if it isn't working. You have to somehow follow through or have a follow-through plan. Plan B, Plan C. You have the whole alphabet to create your action plan. Your safety plan here.
Okay, A to Z. I mean, yeah, but you only have like 2 games to play. So A to Z, you gotta think through. You have to have at least A, B has already been done. If you're going into the C and it's already failure for you, you only have 1 series left for you to actually survive here on MWI.
Yeah. Okay, so the Selena gets respected by Twisted Minds here.
Oh.
Usually for things like these, I would like to cry overreaction, but considering what we saw from game number 1, that's completely fine. I agree with it. Totally okay. Good band there, Twisted.
Yeah, acknowledge, okay?
Yeah.
Duly noted.
Yeah, duly noted like a professional email.
I salute you.
Wow.
But Dang gets rushed. Actually here by Vitality. They're telling Twisted Minds, we don't care about the Yi Sun Shin. Pick it up if you want to.
It's okay. They ain't scared of anything that could be prioritized here for Twisted Mind. You've mentioned the Yi Sun Shin. And actually, the Forza is open for this round as well. But looks like even the Jushin is actually more of a prio lately here for MWI. But let's see, it's just the 6th game of the day.
I mean, the fact that Badang previously just coming off from the patch itself, Badang is still relevant, and I've seen it already been used from time and time again. And as the opening, it really doesn't really matter if you rush it too much. But coming off to the respawn at the side of Twisted Mind, they picked up Granger as well as Kalia. We know for a fact Kalia, even though after being nerfed, it is actually a really good pick-off hero itself. And coming in with the combination of Granger, and we know that we love Granger. The cooldown itself and how you can actually utilize that Rhapsody, Death Sonata. It just needs time because we did see how Twisted Mind had a rough time to even get the itemization. Oh, but wow.
Okay.
Lancelot early on. Vitality is drafting. They don't care. They are drafting to their strengths.
Yeah.
They are drafting whatever the hell they want right now. They get the Farsa, Lancelot as well. They're not afraid to show the starting trio at the center of the map. While Twisted, they are more proactive now with the Kalea pick, but yeah, some adjustments are going to be duly noted here.
I mean, again, like I said, Lancelot is the signature hero. They are definitely knowing for a fact that if, for example, Twisted Mind let it go completely to their side or they leave it open, they won't hesitate to pick it off. And now, leaving off for one more hero to pick it up. Are they going to actually go in for the mid lane? Yep, it seems that they actually pick off Zetian. Zetian, after being added off into the hero pool, yes, I did see during the first day because MAL was the first league ever outside of China to actually give the opportunity for the players to use Zetian. Even though everyone was still trying to adapt to it, it was only like 1 week, not less than 1 week to actually adapt to Zetian. And it was really hard. Not much of the combination that was able to utilize it, but now we finally see it really popping off on MWI.
And that's the beauty of seeing it firsthand here on MWI and on the international stage. And a team with Twisted Minds, I see them somehow capitalizing on the crowd control that it could provide, as well as the vision, plus the addition of what you can do with the chain crowd control with the Kalea. But mostly, I'm concerned about the fact that Vival has a signature hero here, which is a Lancelot. They just pick it with one eyebrow raise, like, take that, Twisted.
Okay, so with Twisted Minds taking away the CC, they're also acknowledging one of the things that you have to do when you're going up against Team Vitality is that you have to ensure that Fumi Echo doesn't end up with a pick that plays to her strengths. The main strength of Fumi Echo is that she is it's like the old dictionary definition of what we expect EXP laners to be, which is you are your own player, you have your own lane, your own life there, do whatever the heck you want, just make sure you help the team at the right time. When Fumi Echo can play like that, Team Vitality are so comfortable.
Oh, as long as she could get onto her own zone.
Yes,
is that
exactly.
what you're saying? Yeah.
Exactly.
And you would want to stop that if you're against Team Vitality, Team Brutality. But Fumi Echo as well, very interesting here that they're not really rushing through, even banning at the Povius here. But acknowledgement, I love the Lapu ban here for Coach Daliot.
Yep. Okay, so with the Lapu Lapu ban, again, that goes with what we just said about Fumi Echo. So I like that even despite the loss in game number 1 and with the drafting decisions here in game number 2, you see that train of thought in Twisted Minds makes so much sense. There's a lot of sound reasoning behind a lot of these picks right now. But they still have to be careful because there's still one pick that could give them a lot of difficulty, and they have to consider the presence of either the glue or the Hilda. And right now, they do not have a lot of answers for that.
And with that, the answer will be the last ban here, YSS. So still acknowledging, even though they have the Badang, they want to somehow limit of what Hyde can show. Okay, it's going to be hidden out here for the YSS. But talking about the glue and what they can pick onto the XP lane here for Fumi Echo, I think the Terisla is also available basing on what the previous teams has already offered earlier onto the draft itself.
I mean, it wasn't successful as we want it to be when we saw it was done by, if I'm not mistaken, CFU Gaming. Yes, there was a lot of the fight where the ulti Terza was able to capture a couple of twos and it didn't go well or didn't actually get the finisher that they wanted to. But it's actually a really good suggestion or even hero pool to be put out. But then we see an answer coming in from the side of Twisted Mind whereby Suyo, one of the really good heroes that we've seen also early on today's MWI MWI.
Yeah, Ramisi.
Yeah.
Amazing from Team Liquid.
Yep.
But the Suyo coming up at 4 just means Vitality can decide either the Glue or the Hilda. It's fine, and you're already giving so many problems for the Suyo in team fights or in presence. They go for the Khalid. Is this going to the roam in the hands of Vivian? And is the Badang actually going into the EXP lane?
Whichever uses it. Of course, it's going to be the same mechanics all over again, but it depends on the laning itself. As you mentioned, you have to be on the zone as your Fumi Echo. But talking about the Suyu being shown for the 4th pick, I do agree with you that it's a bit early because you're technically giving away that, hey, we're going to use the Suyu in the jungle. Try to find someone that can stop me.
Yeah.
Give it with a glue.
And especially now, considering that there's a Harith on the board, there's a Farsa there, I think this Khalid is going to be going to the roam because you supplement a faster farm for the Farsa, in turn the Lancelot, and of course you can help out the Harith even more. That if Twisted Minds lose the early game, that Suyo is not going to be able to do much anymore.
I mean, the fact that the passive of Khalid itself, right? The movement, you can be able to actually hold it up for your stacks to come in, and then you can just roam around wherever you want, having a really good mobility-wise, speed-wise for Khalid itself. And that's what is needed when it comes to roam, where you can come off anytime you want when you are needed at that point given.
All right, it's a Hilda for the last pick. Real quick, Athena, what is your thought on that one?
It's going to be a brutal game yet again, especially with the Lancelot. I'm banking so much here for the Lancelot pick for Team Brutality.
The expected ending for everyone, Vitality wins. Can Twisted Minds deliver a plot twist? Naisu and Brigida, let's go.
And go we shall once again. Match point here for Team Vitality, or as Athena likes to call it, Brutality. They are on a steamroll right now. We'll see if it can change here. Brigida, what do you think real quick of the drafts? You saw them through and you saw the thoughts of the panel. How about you?
I'm thinking if they are planning to replicate that same less than 10-minute game, which happened in game number 1, considering their draft in this game. It's a Khalid Farsa in the mid lane. I think our panelists did touch upon it. But this is such a fast rotation that we might be seeing unless...
It's a Fumi Echo Khalid.
It's a Fumi Echo
It's an
Khalid.
XP lane Khalid.
So it's not entirely the Khalid Farsa, which does indeed go for the fast rotation. But if they play it just as aggressively as game number 1, right? I mean, look at this.
Already aggression. So Cindy goes in there. Vivian too. All for lyrics, so she's got to back off. But I think nonetheless, whether it was a Khalid in the roam or once again this Badang here in the hands of Vivian, you're still going to see the same kind of aggression come out from Team Vitality, and that's really what they like to do. You're going to notice that as they like to play around and really push the limit of what their lineups are able to do. And as we take a look at the emblems here real quick, you're going to see that it is a pretty tanky build on Fumi Echo here for that Khalid action, though.
Speaking of, Chell had to somehow keep herself safe and use the Purify to get out of that. 3 members of Twisted Minds actually did go for the faster rotation this time.
I was also going to say, you know, with this, the Lancelot for Vival has really a couple different builds that we've seen competitively for the Lancelot. I'm assuming she's going to go mostly damage here because once again, that's going to go towards the nature, the theme of let's end this game quickly. Oh. Vivian?
Title Strike doesn't have the Tsunami Slam just yet, but they already forced out the Flicker from Vivian, so I feel like that can potentially encourage Twisted Minds to at least fight for this upcoming objective, which we definitely see they're currently positioning themselves at right now. But there are 4 members of Team Vitality. Oh, look at the fitted airstrike. Miss Meow immediately using her ultimate to cancel it out as well. But Vival does not disappoint. Gets the objective for Team Vitality. There's the flicker coming in from Fumi Echo. And now it's Twisted Minds trying to run away.
I always love to see it. You know, with the Khalid, you get the Raging Sandstorm, but then you flicker to kind of put it at an off angle. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get any kills, but they got the objective for Team Vitality. But they also got a whole lot of battle spell usage out of that too. So Twisted Minds lose that. I thought they were going to have control of at least that first turtle with how things were going, but nonetheless, they were pushed off to it. And now they have to go ahead and kind of recuperate and get back into position here. So with that, this is where we have to look. All right, the power spikes of Twisted Minds, are they in the early game? Are they going to be able to actually contest? Livin might be a big part of that.
It seems like they're trying to somehow be just as aggressive as how Team Vitality played game number 1. But the responses from Team Vitality, they're too good. They just seem like they're always ready to fight back whatever happens. And Chell trying to take out Lunar. Fortunately, there's the flicker, but Vival with the Phantom Execution and the Thorn Rose. That'll be enough to take him out. There's the Fury of the Phoenix and Fumi Echo. They're trying to take him out, but look at the sustain. And it's a double kill from Vival right after what they were already able to take.
That's always, you know, you can't forget about the quick sand guard when the Khalid's there. And that's just enough to go ahead and heal you up, and now under the turret.
They're under the turret, and they're just focused on getting those energy shields. Look at Genie. She's the one actually doing a lot of the zoning. And Team Vitality are already okay with what they were able to get in that top lane. Just look at how quick Team Vitality gets to decide on what they want to do.
This is what you always have to look out for with teams like Team Vitality, and Twisted Minds has to keep track of is that rotation, that rotational speed that comes with just the team in general, but the lineup on top of that. So the objective is up. We'll see if Twisted Minds can get control of this time around, but Vivian's just waiting. Once again, has the flicker available too. So some of this, like I was saying earlier, before that all broke out, it might be up to Livin. Livin burned the flicker earlier on, so she doesn't have that now, but that Tsunami Slam is usually what we see, or that combination of the Flicker and the Tsunami Slam from the Kaleas that are played to go ahead and get a pickoff. And unfortunately, that just hasn't been able to play its part yet. So it's Team Vitality start up the turtle. They'll get control of it. And will Twisted Minds, will they actually contest here?
We have the Phoenix, and it seems like there's no one other than Lyrics to deny Vival of getting that objective. And this is a Lancelot we're talking about, so it's very much expected that they will be able to get it for themselves. But it seems like there's a trade for Twisted Minds. They get the kill onto Chini, but they successfully defend and clear the waves, so they do not let go of this tier 1 in the mid.
There we go. They get a kill here. It's going to be a trouble. She's got to back off, but off camp do a kill and more.
Hyde won't be able to survive this. Fumi Echo once again with that flicker and the Raging Sandstorm. Miss Meow had to use her very own flicker as well just to get out alive. And the pressure is still on for this top lane. Team Vitality, it seems like they just want to start converting from this point onwards.
Yeah, this is, I think the main thing for Twisted Minds is not to let Vival get out of control. I mean, she's already 3-0 right now. You can see the transition now is let's go take the resources from the jungle of Twisted Minds to force them in a response. And again, it's more so enough time. Can they get the time going here for Twisted Minds to build up on the items they need? Here, Lyrics jumping in, mid lane.
Lyrics found Genie, but Genie wasn't affected by the Fury of the Phoenix, and now it's Chell dancing around the members of Twisted Minds. Vival right under the turret too, looking for the targets. Fumi Echo, will they still try to go for something? They might try to disrupt Hyde once again from securing her very own purple buff, but they won't risk it anymore. It seems like Vival has found other things to work on for now.
Yeah, it's true. We know how hard it is to catch, but Fumi Echo, Raging Sandstorm?
They still want to go for it? Okay, they survive somehow. But Chell once again with his Almond Force, and now Vival trying, or surprisingly, the one zoning away the members of Twisted Minds on the Lancelot as they finally get all tier 1 turrets down.
That's what I was going to say, you know, with a Lancelot across from you, especially Deathless right now getting the Brute Force breastplate, which is usually the typical defensive item that we see these Lancelots go for in the build pattern, and it's tough because how do you catch a Lancelot, you know, especially when you got this kind of spike in terms of lead. It's really tough to do because if you spend too much time trying to catch the Lancelot, you're going to waste that, you know, and the rest of the team's going to capitalize on that. So another objective now secured, 3 for 3 in the Turtles for Team Vitality. So Twisted Minds has more ground to cover. They definitely have a lot of space to cover here from this point.
And that's the tricky part about Twisted Minds and their lineup and the engage that they have. It's mostly on Livin. And there's just too much iframes for Vival, even though you desperately want to go after that pickoff on this hero who's currently 4-0, who's definitely up ahead in terms of gold and is the major threat whenever a team fight does break out. But will they commit onto Lyrics though? There's the fist break, and Not with this trap just yet, but Vival fighting up against two. Might be able to get out of this. Fury of the Phoenix. She gets avoided, but not the Queller. And finally, Twisted Minds, they find a way to answer back.
There you go. That's what they needed. They had to go ahead and punish maybe a little overzealous from Vival, but that's exactly what they need. Get a little extra gold in the pockets too here for Twisted Minds. So, you know, they lose some of the space on the map. But again, it's really decisive on how do we get back into the game. And you see the gold difference here. That's the biggest thing. That's also a Divine Glaive now on a Farsa. And that hurts, right? That feathered airstrike that's going to be dropping down, it's not going to be fun to dodge that. And if you get hit by one, you're most likely going to see maybe half your health go down already. So Twisted Minds, like I said, you can get a glimpse at the itemization going on here. They need a lot of time to build on up. But once some of that defensive builds up on even Livin, that might help. But I'm not sure if Team Vitality is really going to give much of an opportunity for that to happen here.
Yeah, even Divine Glaive, Trini already got that item for this Farsa, whereas even if you look at Lyrics, there's yet to be a single item that's completed in her build, which is understandable because you need to sort of spread out the defense. You need
it's a little like
a decent amount of magic damage or magic defense, physical defense, because you don't know who might go after you at this point. You just mentioned it earlier, even the feathered airstrike, wherever Genie decides to position herself, is going to be a major threat for Twisted Minds. And now there's the Fury of the Phoenix, spotting out everyone from Team Vitality, even though the Tsunami Slam won't be used just yet, and Fumi Echo doing a great job at zoning out Lyrics. They see where Hyde also is. Hyde is up top.
Oh, no.
He won't be here to join the fight just yet. But Twisted Minds doesn't plan to commit. Not unless Fumi Echo tries to go after Lunar. Will the other members be able to catch up? Lunar successfully flickers out of danger, but Chell is here with the Zaman Force. And they survive, but they're still the Lord.
Oh, I can't believe they actually survived that. An amazing flicker from Lunar to survive that initiation from Fumi Echo. Now they still have to defend against this Lord pushing in. They bought themselves a little bit more time and gold. And maybe Lunar, well, she gets the items going, she might be able to be a big enough threat, but right now it's all just trying to hold on to these base turrets. It's only that first Lord, so we'll see if they can pull it off. Fumi Echo's back up. Lord's gonna go ahead and charge on in, so this shield defense is gonna pop, but they'll ultimately clear out the Lord. And Twisted Minds might have just bought themselves a little bit more time. They don't want to overstep this, though. That's the biggest thing. Look at the setup here. Potential it's already going to go for. Not sure if they go in. Check them out as that mid shield goes down, too.
Yeah.
Another airstrike.
I was... Yeah, Vival could have went for that, but probably she learned from what happened earlier. So they won't be taking those risks anymore, considering that they're this much ahead already. But there's a conceal coming in from Livin. Will they be able to use the Tsunami Slam? They successfully do, and there's that layer of crowd control coming in from Lyrics as well. The second time we saw Vival get shut down.
I mean, that was a great play. I was gonna say, I heard the conceal, and then I'm like, yeah,
She's
Vival's
still
there.
there.
Like, she's still there, you know? So, great move from Twisted Minds to go ahead and find that out, spot that out. Here's another one.
Oh, I thought Livin was gonna jump away from Chell, but it seems like it was just a bait, but now it will be the punish onto Lyrics for staying too close to the members of Team Vitality. So it's somewhat of a 1-for-1, I'd say, between these two teams, but it's still Team Vitality in the lead.
Yeah, you can see this once again, just how much damage a Farsa will allow you to do. Lunar's not too far, and that's what I was saying. One of the biggest possibilities here for Twisted Minds to turn this game completely over would really just have to be on Lunar, and that's usually the case, right, for the gold laners here, especially with the Granger, but protecting Lunar to make sure that she has the ability to move around and get the positioning, especially if she doesn't have the flicker available like we saw previously, then, you know, that's up to the team to be able to do that. Now, this is where one of the things comes into play too, the Zetian, is she going to be able to actually help these team fights? Yes, the Fury of the Phoenix is great, you get some of that vision too, but the damage potential, I would say, in comparison to a Farsa, it's a little bit of a different approach to these fights.
Or what if, in terms of protecting, Lunar just decides to stick with Miss Meow.
That could work too.
Like whenever the Celestial Armament is available, whoever decides to go in will be immediately deflected away, and that could be a potential opening for Twisted Minds to go for the counter engage, but we'll see how this goes for now, because it seems like it's Team Vitality going for that conceal, and they do not go after Miss Meow. It's directly towards Lunar, but again, the flicker is available, so they will be able to keep themselves safe. But those are a lot of resources already burned for both of these teams.
Yeah, that's tough. They knew that even if they didn't get a kill, they got the flicker down from Lunar. So Lunar has no choice. It's Twisted Minds that have to kind of just give this Lord up. So even though there was no kill converted there, Team Vitality still did the work. Fumieko also getting a winner crown, and that is a Lord now for them to go ahead and approach this base once again at Twisted Minds. So
it's not always about the kills.
It's not always about the kills, right? What did they say earlier? Sometimes you gotta lie. I don't know what.
No. Yeah, because
we just have to throw
you
it in
can't
there.
be too honest in terms of your gameplay. You can't reveal too much or what you're planning to do, which I feel for Twisted Minds was the exact same scenario. They were just upfront. Team Vitality had a clear idea of where they were going to come from. I'd say the sequence of how Twisted Minds constantly goes for the team fights, Team Vitality had it read out.
They do. And sometimes this might be up to them to pull another trick up their sleeve. Fumieko's going to jump in.
There's no flicker available, however, so they will be immediately able to take out Team Vitality. But look at the Fizz Rack coming in from Vivian, taking out two members immediately from Twisted Minds, and now they'll have to defend this by themselves. Oh, there's a title strike committed onto the Val. Once again, they get to shut her down, but that's not gonna be enough because it's gonna be a sweep brought to us by Team Vitality.
Took them a little bit longer, but Team Vitality once again will showcase just how strong they are in a sweep against Twisted Minds Orchids here. Looking as solid as ever, and some great plays from Twisted Minds, really. There were some great moments there that they were actually able to punish Team Vitality, catch some of the moments out there and capitalize on it, but just unfortunately, they didn't have enough time. This was about a 14-minute game, so about 4 minutes longer than the previous one, which ended very quickly. And it was just one of those cases, again, where Twisted Minds fell behind quite a bit in certain areas, and it just took too much to get back into the game, to get back to where they needed to be able to actually contest and hold on to the base there.
That was a clear sacrifice from Fumieko.
Yeah.
They